Okay, so by now you've been watching a few of these and you already know who I am. Um, I left off talking about the fact that, now I'm in, several gyms doing, one-on-one. I'm at this other gym splitting money with the owner and, 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness was the other gym chain, Holiday Health Spa. They were all starting to come online. And I remember the Chin brothers here when they opened up the LA Fitness here in Long Beach, and they were in the traffic circle area. And I saw the chain, and when that chain opened up, man, it was like a kid in a candy store. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. When you pull into a town or you go somewhere to a new gym and you see it, it's like, oh my God, look at, they have all the new equipment, and I think at that time, the standard barbells and dumbbells were all the real serious stuff. Nautilus was what was in the first gym that I trained in, but they started to develop a line of plate load. Flex was probably the Flex click cable drive system was all the really good equipment at that time. So it allowed, different angles and things that were going on with your training for bodybuilding purposes. And it was at that point I was starting to evolve in my understanding with training. And, I was learning presentation. I was learning, about just having a better overall physical look and having a professional wardrobe and look beyond hot skins. That still kind of was going on. And I think they had the big baggy pants on in the first wave of the atomic shoes. I still see guys wearing that stuff now. And I just think, okay, it's a flashback. It's like the scrunchy socks, the Jane Fonda socks. So yeah, it's been a long journey for 40 years of just watching this path. So looking back at it, I'm having these great memories and sharing with you, some of the key points. I talked about, getting your credit straight in the first part of this conversation. Then, getting your certification squared away, getting your insurance, your liability insurance. Now it's so easy. So everything is online and you can do this, but you had to know somebody that knew, well, what do I need to do? And I can hire a coach and I'll figure out all this stuff. That would be my next point. And I didn't hire my first coach. I read a lot. I read a lot of business books. I think Tom Peters was somebody. I had a client while I had moved from my gym, the smaller gym with the first line of Nautilus equipment. I went to Goals, and it was at Goals at that point. And so I'm not going to, Mr. Celebrity Trainer. At that point, I was training the owner of the Farmers and Merchant Bank chain, a billionaire. And he was a wrestler, so we really connected. I was training a guy at the LA Fitness who was the editor of the news team, and he was always top of the food chain in his field. And obviously, about the LA Times, but I had a lot of high profile clients. And in this particular gym in Long Beach Golds, we had a very new crew of up and coming pro fighters. We had the Long Beach rappers. We had, young Jesse James had just started West Coast Choppers. Uh, Snoop was in the scene, West Coast Connection. Everybody was starting to roll through. Long Beach was bumping, and it was a really really cool time. And I had a friend of mine. Actually, at that point, he was into bodybuilding a lot more, and geared up a bit. But he was Snoop's bodyguard. And that during that time period, you can look back at the timeline and that and understand that story. But I'm a walking history book with this sport and this field. And during that time, developing my base, so I got myself to a point where I was seeing 50 to 60 clients a week, 8 to 10 per day. And I was getting a lot of notoriety locally, not as Mr. Fat Loss, just Emil Giroux. And I was working on developing and perfecting the rest of what I was doing with my clients. About that time, Gold's owners were wanting to take training in-house, and there was an issue. And see, here I am. I'm probably generating a few $1,000s a week, and this is like 1990, early 1990. I was like, out of control. I was running around with my big brick cell phone, the big Motorola. I was such a little poser. And the training world was just starting to blow up. Long Beach had the Mr. Olympia come into our city. Eddie Murphy came to town. Rocky had been doing some training and Dolph Lundgren was in our gym. So there was a lot of stuff going on and the gyms were set up. Now, this is when music was pumped into the gym and they were paying not before Spotify, before YouTube Music, before all of this, they just had MTV on the TV and the music channel. And if you're watching MTV Raps or whatever was going on, the club was bumping. It was like a nightclub. It was just like all that adrenaline, all that testosterone, the sexy videos, the music, the hot skins, right? Okay. You can imagine it was like a dance club in the gym and it was just the place to be. It was like Cheers on TV. I could go all day. I don't want to kind of bore you with all of that, but that's what draws us into the field. So here you are, you have this gift, you have this desire to train, you now package it, you got yourself certified, you're starting to learn how to dress and present your program. Now it's like, well, how can I, move from doing one-on-one and make more money and then market without really spending a lot of money, because we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Google. It was like none of this existed. So what do you do? And see, right now, if I was a young trainer, I would pay attention to this next video.